Right. So let me see a topic, multi-tenant technology, in the third unit, first chapter, cloud-enabled technologies. So another technology in cloud-enabling technology is multi-tenant. What actually the multi-tenant? Tenant means what? Tenant is a the rented house people's tenant, right? So multi-tenant, multiple users, those who are accessing on pay and use peoples are called as multi-tenant. So how this technology is required for this? So very interesting, very interesting topic. This multi-tenant. See, come to the first definition itself. What actually the theme talks about? Multi-tenant application design was created for enabling multi-users. So here multi-users is called as tenants, a user who is using a service on payment basis, or maybe it's a free service, is a tenants to access same application logically simultaneously. So logical simultaneously in the sense, best example for a time being, you please make sure you please keep it in your mind the WhatsApp and as well as the Amazon shopping. Now same application means maximum in the your class, all most of you have WhatsApp app, right? So same application. How multiple users are going to be using? Logically, is simultaneously multiple users are going to be using. So just enabling multiple users to access that same application is called as multi-tenant application. So when we call as multi-tenant application, when the single application can be accessible by multiple users, if you are enabling that service, then logically it is a simultaneous has to be accessed. It's not like one after the other. At a time it can be simultaneous can be accessed the same application, then it's called as multi-tenant. So each tenant means of you own view of the application. Your WhatsApp, your status, your profile is your own view of the application that it uses. It you can use your in own style. The administrators, the customizes as dedicated instances of the software while remaining unaware of the other tenants that are using the same application. Maybe your way of style of using the backend, the way of your presenting, the way of your groups, the way of your the members in the group, the profile style, the status, the login title of your things, it's a different. It's not unaware of the other tenants. The other tenants are not aware about that part until unless you are allowing them to access that your statuses or some the WhatsApp numbers, right? So multi-tenant applications ensure that tenants don't have access to data and configure information that is not their own. That's why I have said you until unless both the parties are save the numbers. Say for example, the roll number one and maybe the roll number another roll number X and roll number Y are having the numbers. So his or her number should be stored by Y, and Y also has to be stored the number of X. Then only they can visible, they can access their statuses and everything. Until unless not saved by each other, their numbers don't have any access to data on configure information that is not their own. That is the one point over here. See the graphically how a single tenant versus the multi-tenant. Single tenant, as I said, separate application, separate database. So his, this is his own application, own database, own application, own database, own application, own database. Instead of that, having multiple databases over here, one, two, three, and with the help of a single application, can access these single applications by multiple users. Then it is called as multi-tenant. Best example you can also take as PhonePe. PhonePe, it is having multiple databases. Like say for example, this is in the PhonePe you can make reservation, you can make banking transaction, you can make other services of this. So this servicing of other services is a separate database, banking is a separate database, and reservation of that is other databases. Like different services are there in single app. So same app can be used for different users. So same application with the separate databases. In the WhatsApp also, you can also set the messages, you can also transfer the money, you can also some sort of some other type of services over there in WhatsApp, right? So like this, the different databases can be connected to a single application. That application can be accessible by multiple users. Then it is called as multi-tenant. That is the best how we can be express the multi-tenant. Coming to the multi-tenant features, the features here we are talking about the four different features. The first feature is user interface. User interface is just now has said you how good look and feel, how the tenant, how you are feeling that particular application. the phone pay or maybe WhatsApp or maybe in other apps, whatever you are having, how good we are feel. That is the first feature. The second, business process. Like as you know, the WhatsApp can be having two different users. One is the single users, individual, or the second is business users. So the rules, the logic, and the workflow between that users for the business users, business WhatsApp accounts users having different, because the business point of view they are going to using and that are implementing in that way the application. So you have to customize your own. You can customize your own way. Even though you are not save your number, business accounts peoples can directly send their messages, can look into that. So step of flexibility over there. The third feature is data model. Data model in the sense like we are connecting with the different multiple, as in the figure shows, single application is connecting with the different databases. So that's why the data schema means what, how structurally you are framing the data, how good. But the tables of that each databases is different. The tables, how the schema of the in the phone pay, if it is connected with the reservation, the schema of this reservation is different, the structure is different of this reservation database. The banking schema is different. The other services, which is paying the bill, paying credit card bills, or some other services, is different, right? So that's why the data schema has to be extended such that it should be, the application can include, can exclude, can rename the some of the fields so that as to customize in their own style. Like this, the application has to give the chances, give the access to the data structure, because the data structure, the data, how the scheme of the banking database is different than the reservation database, is different from the some other services, right? So it has to allow, add, delete, rename, include, exclude means what, adding, deleting, or renaming the data structure what they have. The fourth feature of this multi-tenant technology is access control. As I said, you, how good you are going to create it. Who can be sent in the group means they who have the access, who are the members in the group, they can send it. And who have the access for the users means both our parties are save their numbers to each other, then only can access for controlling or can access their rights. So it depends on the access control how it can be access the data over there. So multi-tenant application architecture is often significantly more complex than single tenant application. Obviously, because single tenant application is a separate application, separate database, whereas the multi-tenant single application, multiple databases, definitely the complexity is more and more over there. Okay. And coming to the characteristics of multi-tenant, so it's also very interesting characteristics of this. So here probably we have 7 different characteristics are there. First one, if you are focus on this, usage isolation. Usage isolation is nothing but the use behavior of one tenant. One means one user does not affect the application availability and performance of other tenants. Obviously, it is because isolation means your WhatsApp, your phone pay is your headache. Whatever the users, you groups you have, your own. The availability of the WhatsApp, the performance of the WhatsApp, it doesn't depends on each other. How many number of users for the WhatsApp, it doesn't matter. Your application you have installed in your own mobile, so that's why it's not connecting to the other WhatsApp app, what other mobiles. That's why the performance wise or availability wise of the application, the behavior does not affect the application. That is called as usage isolation. The second one is data security. As I said you earlier also in the previous slides, the second one, that is can't access the data that belongs to other tenants. Obviously, until unless you are give the access control to that particular tenant, there is no chance to access that data. Because of that, the data security is more. The third one, as we have a facility in the WhatsApp as well, in other also in mobiles also, we can back up and restore. Sometimes when you are crack your mobile, when we or maybe shut down your mobile suddenly, or any crashes because of that display has gone or something. Because of that problems, there is a chances for backup and restore of the procedures, or you have stolen by your mobile some other, or SIM has to be damaged. Because of that, we can do this. So that it can provide the characteristic recovery. The fourth one, application upgrades. That are application upgrades means every time if you are also seen for every week or 2 weeks, there are some updates are coming for phone pay updates or WhatsApp updates. Not only that, other applications also be getting updates of that. Tenants are not negatively affected by synchronous upgrades of shared software artifacts, because any problem will come because it is a trial and error. All the apps are trial and error. When the trial has released into the market, when the users means tenants are used, when something has get error, it will resolve in the next patch. Next patch means next updates. So why the updates are coming? Because why the things is because of the errors or problems faced by the tenants. To overcome that, the solution is coming into in the form of patches or in the form of updates. That is how the application updates are going on. The fifth characteristic is scalability. So definitely we can extend. Previously, if you are observed, WhatsApp is only for message chatting. Now it is also sending the money. If you see previously PhonePe, it is only for banking application. Now it is as extendable. It is scalable. It is accommodate increase as the users are going to be. Initially, they are having very limited users. Once the services are going to be enhancing, integrating scalability with respect to the increasing the number of tenants, with respect to the usage of the existing tenants, altogether it is scalable, it is extending. And the sixth characteristic is metered uses. So most of you have observed there is an option in settings, right? How much the WhatsApp uses you have used, how much of data currently you have used for today or for the last 1 week or for the last 1 month, how much of each app the usage with respect to the RAM, with respect to the processor, with respect to the space, with respect to the speed of that one, availability, all we can see in the form of meter usage, right? So tenants are charged only for the applications processing and features that are actually consumed. As usual, that how much you are going to be, how much of data you are using, that much of data is detected for that particular day. So in the form of metered usage, you can digital meter usage, we can see all this multi-tenants technology characteristic. The last one, that is the seventh one, data tied isolation. So data tied isolation is one of the layer. It is like as I said you, multiple databases accessing single application. So each database is having their own individual database, own tables, and our own schemas associated from other tenant. So because of that, it can provide the multi-tenant technology can provide one of the best characteristics is data type isolation. So these are the seven characteristics like usage isolation, data security, recovery, application upgrades, scalability, metered uses, and data type isolation. When you see versus between most of thing, the multi-tenant and virtualization, both look like as same. It's sometimes, right? So multi-tenancy is sometimes mistaken for virtualization because the concept of multi-tenancy is similar to the concept of virtualized instances. Now there is a slight difference between virtualizations and multi-tenant. Let me see what actually that difference is. What is multiple within a physical server acting as a host is both are going to be using physical server for acting as a host. Coming to the virtualization, what actually virtualization can done? Multiple virtual copies of the server environment can be hosted by a single physical server. So from a single physical server, hope you have observed the last one of the figure we have already shown you. Hope this is right. So multiple physical server can be created as a single physical server. From that single physical server, you can access, we can create multiple virtual servers. That's what it is saying in the definition of virtualization. That's what it is saying. Multiple virtual copies of the server environment can be hosted by a single physical server. Now, each copy can be provided to different users. Each copy can be provided with different users, can be configured independently. This is configured independent. Just now I said your WhatsApp, your phone pay, your is your copy. That is your copy. It's a configure. You can configure yourself independent. Can be contain its own operating system and own application. So this virtualization giving the access to you for as a separate entity. Independently, you are running your own virtualization where it consisting of own operating system, own applications, own softwares, or all are separate, independent to each other. Coming to the multi-tenancy, what actually it is doing is a physical or virtual server. For both, it can be do the multi-tenant. Maybe for physical server, it can do multi-tenant, or whatever from the physical server it is created virtual server. For that virtual servers also we can perform multi-tenancy. So a physical or virtual server hosting an application is designed to allow usage by multiple different users. Multiple different users. What difference you are observing here is there in the virtualization, we have our own hardware, own operating system, own applications, where here allow usage by multiple different users. So this is a hosting an application. This application is designed to allow usage by multiple different users. So each user feels as though they have exclusively usage of that application. So multi-tenancy focuses mainly on applications, whereas virtualization focuses not only on applications, but also separate OS, separate configuration, separate hardware, separate thing there in the virtualization. Okay, so here you are virtualizing in the multi-tenancy, only one applications can access in the multiple ways. But in the virtualization, you are making separate of not only applications, but also their own of OSs, their own configurations. Okay. So what we have learned in the multi-tenant technology is we have seen what is the main objective or theme or the main purpose of multi-tenant application, what's difference between single tenant and multi-tenant, and followed by we have seen the features of multi-tenant technology and the characteristics of multi-tenant technology and how it differs with the virtualization with respect to multi-tenancy. We have seen this difference. So that's about the multi-tenant technology.